Wow, this is the biggest dress I've ever seen. How many fittings did you do?
Oh. الزواج عنا كلبنانية شيء كتير حلو. بتخلقي هيك عم يربوكي بس تتزوجي.
هلا مين بده يزلغط لها؟
لا ليش أنا زلغط لحالي عادي. كل العرايس بلبنان ولا حدا إلا ما بيكون بهمه هيدا النهار أكتر من كل شيء بحياته بعدين.
I don't know how the groom's gonna fit in here. The dress is taking up about 2 seats.
الصندوق ما بيسيعه؟
Oh no. Bye! We're in Beirut, and this is a place that I've always wanted to visit for a number of reasons. One, because this is a place where motorcycles drive. It's a place where ambulances pass. I'll try again, sorry. This has always been a liberal oasis in the Middle East, a place where the Arab world has come to indulge in everything from clubbing to haute couture.
And while much of the news surrounding Lebanon is focused on conflict, it's also well known for its luxury market. High fashion here is marked by extravagance and attention to detail and crystals, lots and lots of crystals. While this ultra-feminine style is most coveted amongst Middle Eastern clients, it has grown in popularity worldwide thanks to designer Elie Saab. Elie Saab was the first Lebanese designer to become an international superstar, and now he's a staple on red carpets around the world. Halle Berry famously wore one of his dresses the year she won the Oscar for Best Actress. Saab's success has opened doors for other Lebanese designers to follow in his footsteps. Designers like Danny Attridge.
We're going to meet Danny Attridge in his atelier. He's one of the most famous couture designers here in Lebanon.
Danny Attridge is getting ready to head to Paris Fashion Week for his 7th time.
So these are the looks for the Fashion Week?
Yes, usually we make planning for the show. We start with materials and our idea about the show. So this is going for the show.
Oh, wow.
This is our new collection, so.
Wow. And what does she wear underneath?
Nothing.
Ooh la la.
Yes. So usually Lebanese like to have embroidery.
Yeah.
Me, I don't like embroidery, but I love materials. Some of our materials cost like 2,000 euro, 3,000 euro a meter.
Oh my God. Can I try one on?
Yes.
God, this is so heavy.
Yes.
Oh my God. You could fit so many things under here. I could steal a flat screen TV in this dress.
Wow, you see? What you think? It's nice, no?
Yeah, it's super nice. How do you walk in this dress?
In haute couture, we need the girls walk slow, shoulders and back like this.
Okay.
Go back.
Back.
No,
No.
little bit. I don't like it.
You don't like it? So is this something someone would wear to their wedding, or?
Maybe.
And who is your customer?
Saudi Arabia is big, it's the biggest market. Maybe 70%, yes.
70%.
And how did Beirut become this place where the Arab world came to spend their money?
We get our period maybe in 1965, 70s. All the money come to Beirut because we speak Arabic. People say Lebanon was the Switzerland of the Middle East. It was famous for tourism, of course, because if you see Lebanon, and all around is deserts. So everybody was coming to Beirut.
So there was a market for that, for haute couture even then?
Yes, big market. It was famous for fashion. In 1970, for example, in Lebanon, we go to the beach with two-piece, you know, and all the Middle East was all closed, you know. It was like a point, different point in the Middle East.
Like an oasis.
Yes.
Then in the 70s, everything came crashing down. A civil war ravaged Beirut for 15 years, and tourists stayed away. Since then, there have been booms in the market, as well as recessions and wars. Most recently, the 2006 Israel-Hezbollah war that destroyed much of Lebanon's infrastructure. But even when Lebanon is not at war, it's often vulnerable to the conflict around it. Because Lebanon is a small country, only about half the size of New Jersey, the problems of its larger neighboring countries affect it greatly. And today, those problems are in Syria. For the last 6 years, Syria has been afflicted by a brutal civil war, forcing over 1 million refugees to cross the border into Lebanon. In fact, now roughly 1 in every 5 people living in Lebanon is a Syrian refugee. And a few of these refugees work here in Danny's atelier.
How long have you been working here?
1 month.
1 month? Where are you from?
From Aleppo, Syria.
Aleppo. Are many of the tailors here Syrian?
ايه مصطفى هو داعش فما بيقدر بيحكي كثير خاف يشوفوه على الكاميرا بعدهم بدقوا باهله في شبه مثل عمر
By miracle, Lebanon is stable now.
Do you feel like it's still on the edge, like anything could happen?
Yeah, you should be ready to leave maybe tomorrow. Me, I'm here for one reason. I'm here because I believe in Lebanon, because we have a lot of nice people, and we have a lot of energy to put in this country.
Thank you so, so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
See you when I come back.
Okay.
The influx of people coming to Lebanon has put a strain on the economy, which in turn affects the haute couture market. Because Danny's clients are from around the world, his label is not struggling as much. But many lesser-known designers are heavily impacted by the ebb and flow of the domestic market. However, even when the country's economy is suffering, there is one luxury item that is always in high demand: the wedding dress. It seems that this is the bread and butter for most designers here.
So we're here at the hotel where the wedding is going to happen, and the bride is just coming out of the elevator right now. And here are the flower girls.
This dress was made by Aliassi, a Lebanese designer. At the end of this week, he'll be participating in a local fashion showcase.
Do you design many wedding dresses?
يس طبعا اكيد فساتين اعراس وكمان ايفنينج دريس ستايل فرعوني. انا مثلا فساتيني جدا رائعه يمكن مثل ما شايفين انتم.
It's kind of spooky.
وفي فساتين ممكن يكون كثير قويه بس حسب شو عم يطلبوا مني الكاستمر. هذا كله شواروفسكي هلا كثير دارج الشكل.
And how long does something like this take you?
بين ال10 وال15 يوم. شكل هاند ميد.
This is so cool.
بنرسم ديزاين بعدين بنشكه كله.
Wow.
هذا بعيد الجيش عملته لبنتي.
Wow, she is a lucky lady, huh?
اكيد ودائما بتكون هي المميزه. خلينا نفرجيكم اذا بدكم جوا شو في بالمعمل عندي شو عم ينشغل. This is very simple.
What's your name? I'm Hailey. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
How long have you been working here?
I have about 2 years.
Do you like living here in Lebanon?
Yeah.
نور اول مره بيطلع على الكاميرا فعم يرجف ما مش This order لكاستمر.
I'm Hailey. Nice to meet you. How long have you been working here?
أنا ما صار لي شهر بس أنا كنت بسوريا يعني هذا شغلي.
Were you a tailor when you were in Syria?
إيه كان عندنا مشغل هنيك بحمص وهذا مجال يعني.
بحكي قليلة بالنسبة لها. هو الإجمالا تحاول أسئلتها تكون موجهة لإلي أنا بس إلي إنه حاول تكون أسئلتها لإلي أنا كديزاينر ما في داعي إنه هي وتطلعوا فيها. قليلة بالنسبة لها.
Yeah, of course. It's just nice to see all the people here.
Okay.
This way?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Nice to meet you. Beautiful work. As a designer, do you feel that you're affected by the political situation here?
الديزاينر الموجود بلبنان عم يتأثر كتير بالوضع هيدا. حلمي كل الناس تحبني، تحب شغلي. المصاري بهيدا المجال ما بيعني لي، بيعني لي الناس تعرف شو عاصي ويوصل اسمي واللي أنا بدي وصله، مش اللي بدي وصله هيك. يعني اللي أنا لازم أوصل له ما بقدر أوصل له بسبب الأوضاع بس.
So I'm just leaving Aliasi's. You know, he's definitely working in a very similar tradition to people like Danny Attridge and Elie Saab. Obviously, he's working on a smaller scale, but this glittery, hand-done work seems to be the style here. But now this is the second time that we've seen the atelier made up of refugees. I felt a little uncomfortable when he was like, can you make this about me and not about them? Because obviously, we'd like to see the whole picture and see how these things are getting made.
We're in the southern suburbs of Beirut, and we are here to meet one of the designers participating in the showcase. Her name is Farah, and she has a boutique here, which is haute couture.
Like to have a great tea.
I'll have a tea.
Yeah, okay.
That sounds great.
No, my sugar is.
How long have you had this store?
It's been 4 months now.
Yeah.
I love the old ages. 80s, 70s, I'm in love with that era. I love the gowns and the huge items and the thick materials. I love that. I love the princess era. And this is Cinderella dress.
Oh, this is attached?
Yes.
Oh my God.
It's ready. It's ready to wear, ready to go.
Yeah.
And it's for $4,000.
It's beautiful.
First of all, this is a veil fashion line. They came to a point where veiled women lacked belief that they can actually look good. And some of them even leaned towards taking off their veil because they do not have specific places that can serve them and can give them what they need. Surprisingly, I actually grabbed the attention of non-veiled women too.
Yeah, I mean, I would wear a lot of this stuff.
Yes.
I mean, maybe not this, but but yeah.
I think that the velvet, the red velvet, it would be awesome on you. So. Brings back the royal era.
Amazing.
So how do you feel?
I feel like Guinevere. I love these shoulders.
This is the shoulders that I actually use in most of my designs because this is the only area that is shown because it will be covered just the same way that I'm covering my veil here.
Yeah.
مرحبا حبيبتي. مع شو بدي خطبتها. خطبتك لك انت وين عملتيه؟ لما قالت لي وقع خطبه وهيك دغري تخيلت انه معقوله هيك شيء بس عم تقول مش طلب مني هيك شيء صراحه.
So I guess mom has all the power.
لكن ممكن اعرف انه شو بكلف الفستان.
هيدا $4,000. اوكي؟
من 2000 يعني سقفه 2000.
طيب انا بقدر احسبه على $3,000.
لا اعملي لي كل حسابه.
على 3 مستحيل
واعتبريني خالته.
ثانك يو. على $2,800 تونتو ما في انزل عن هذا المبلغ ما بتقدري.
لا
هي لك اياه على 2200 تونتو. انا ما عادش عم بيعك موديلك، عم بيعك مثل اي خياط عادي قماش وغراض هيك عم بيعك. يعني انا ما عادش ما تقولي ديزاينر اشتبعتني اياه لانه منه حق ديزاينر هيدا عن جد. That's the thing that I face every time because of this location. Once I change my location, I believe that customers in other areas would pay whatever amount I ask for. So that's why we're starting to create wedding dresses and they're upstairs. We can take a look at them. مش على الكل خلي شوي مبين من قدام يا أسامة.
Where are you from, Osama?
أنا من حلب من سوريا صار لي 5 سنين من أول الأزمة.
And were you a tailor in Syria?
إيه صار لي 30 سنة 32 سنة.
Oh my God, wow.
This is my first time in the business, so I need someone that is really professional. Osama is one of them.
What's the most important thing that you've learned from Osama?
So basically what I'm learning from him is how to create this stuff, and I was very pleased to meet him because I know that this place can offer a good salary because I met Osama through a friend of mine, and the friend actually explained the deteriorating living condition that he was living with the other designer. Of course, he cannot say that because as a Syrian refugee living in Lebanon, they're always careful of what to say and how to say it because they do not have any political support, and he's only here to make his living and feed his family.
Many of the Syrian refugees who have found jobs in the fashion industry are working behind the scenes, regardless of their level of experience. However, one of the participants of the upcoming show is a designer who fled Syria with his family 5 years ago. Today, he has an atelier of his own.
غدير الجواد. أنا هون بنشتغل مصمم، بنصمم الموديل مثل ما أنتم شايفين هيك. وفاتن شركتي بالشغل بتساعدنا، طبعا بنساعد أنا وياها.
هو بيعطي التصاميم تبعوله، أنا بساعده كعلاقاتي مع العالم، بعطي ذوقي أو رأيي بكل شيء. يعني نحن متضامنين، يعني الأتيليه لنا.
آخر شيء اشتغلنا أنا وفاتن بمحل، اشتغلنا أنا وياه يعني نشتغل سوا. فقررنا إنه نشتغل نفتح لحالنا ونشتغل لحالنا.
Do you feel that you would have been able to do this without pairing with people that are Lebanese?
هلا هون لا هيك الواحد ليش؟ لأن جاي على بلد مش بلده.
Do you find that there are many Syrian designers like you?
موظفين يعني، فما أظن في حدا هلا فاتح لحاله حسابه أو شيء عم يشتغل.
How does this compare to stuff that you would make in Syria? Are the fashions different?
ايه اكيد. هلا بالنسبه للشغل هون يعني بنتعب بالشغل بالايد اكثر.
هيدا اجمالا عم ياخذوه ويدنج سيفيل.
How long does this take?
ضل يشتغلوا فيه تقريبا شي 10 ايام.
Can I try?
ايه هيك.
Following the line of the... Okay, and then up. Okay.
يعني شغلنا هي كلها ذوق، بتعتمد على الذوق وعلى الفن وهيك. فبلاقي كل شيء فيه لمسة سحرية، لمسة هيك تاتش حلو يعني.
It seems like every tailor in this country right now is Syrian.
هلا اكيد ايه مزبوط معها حق. بسوريا يعني 20 مليون مثلا سوريا، مش انه قليل. ومعظم اللي اجوا من حلب اجوا لهون. فالحلبية كتير مشهورين يعني بالخياطة وبيشتغلوا بالخياطة. هلا بالنسبة للسوري يعني اجى لهون بده يصرف على بيته، اخذ بيت، استأجر بيت، بده يعيش، فبيضطر انه يشتغل لو راتب قليل يعني اقل من اللبناني ما ياخده. المهم انه يشتغل ويسلك اموره، يزبط اموره.
While many refugees are just doing their best to survive, their willingness to work for longer hours and less pay has become contentious.
So what's the most difficult thing that you're facing right now?
Some business owners started firing Lebanese workers and replacing them with refugees. This created tension.
So we're in Beirut souks. It's essentially a giant shopping mall. This place was built to lure tourists from the Gulf to make shopping excursions to Beirut. I feel like we should make a slip and slide down this pathway.
So here we are in the Souk Beirut.
Souk Beirut.
Usually souk, it's more traditional,
Spices.
You know. When you go, you see souk.
Yeah.
So this is a classy souk of Beirut.
Very classy souk, yeah.
And it's very expensive here. When we live here, it's like you live in Fifth Avenue,
Right.
Champs-Élysées. 10 years ago, you cannot walk here.
Really?
Oh, you cannot. If you want to take a coffee, for example, you cannot have a seat to have a coffee.
Really?
All is reserved. You pay $500 to have a table.
Oh my God. And why do you think it's so empty now?
We are affected by all the problems around us. So when everything is good around us, we are very good. When everything is not good, we are not good.
Right.
This ghost town reflects the steep decrease in tourism, but it's not only the luxury market that's suffering. It has been reported that unemployment in Lebanon has more than doubled since the start of the Syrian refugee crisis, and many working-class neighborhoods are feeling the effects, such as Burj Hammoud. Burj Hammoud is a town famous for its abundance of clothing manufacturers and leather goods stores, and its already dense population has increased by several thousand Syrian refugees over the last 6 years.
So we're here in Burj Hammoud to speak to the vice president of this municipality, George Corian, to talk to him about how they're dealing with this influx of people. Hailey.
I'm George.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome.
How's it going?
Fine. Usual.
Yeah. So what's the most difficult thing that you're facing right now?
The influx of Syrian refugees started causing hardships. Those refugees needed desperately jobs to put food on the table. So they were prepared to work for very low wages and for very long hours. Some business owners started firing Lebanese workers and replacing them with refugees.
Because it was cheaper for them?
Yes, it was just a bit better than slave labor. Now, this created tension. Many Lebanese felt frustrated. They were losing their jobs to refugees, and there was no one to protect them or to help them. Even the law was not protecting them.
After a string of violent clashes between locals and Syrian refugees, a curfew was put into place restricting Syrians from being on the street at any time between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m., with banners like these put up as a reminder.
I know that this municipality is one of few municipalities that have decided to enforce a curfew for Syrians.
Well, that is not exactly accurate. We put banners asking, not ordering, asking refugees not to be around and about the public places on the streets after dark hours and until light, for their own safety and to prevent any contact between young men. And that was for a very short period of time, just 5 days.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
After leaving George, we attempt to speak to a Syrian who lives in the neighborhood.
Good. The cops just showed up because they don't want us to be filming in this neighborhood. They don't want us to be talking to any of the Syrians. Go. Okay, we have to go. Let's go. Because the police didn't allow us to film inside Burj Hammoud, we've come to another neighborhood to speak to a Syrian tailor where he feels more comfortable talking about the restrictions that are placed on Syrians. What's it like living in Burj Hammoud right now?
صعبة. أنا الصراحة أنا كنت أشتغل يعني بدرز. محلي سكرته ما عادش فيني أشتغل. لأني سوري ممنوع التجول بعد الساعة 6. هلا على 4 وشوي بفل على برج حمود بضلني بالبيت لتاني يوم. يعني في عالم بتسهر، في شباب بتسهر، في كذا ممنوع. هني نهاية ما بدون سوريين.
One of the members of the Burj Hammoud municipality said to me that the curfew's over, that it was just like, they just put the signs up for a week as a polite suggestion.
لا. مش مزبوط.
And who enforces this rule that you're not allowed to be out at night? The Burj Hammoud government?
لا شباب المنطقة، أهالي المنطقة هن بيقولوا لهم أهالي المنطقة. مع إنه الدولة بتعرف مين والدولة سمحت لهم بهالشيء. الوضع ببرج حمود كل السوريين مخنوقين.
It's a slippery slope to enforce things like curfews for only one ethnicity. The Syrians, they don't necessarily want to be here. They're running away from death, and so this is their only option at this moment. Was there a particular moment when you felt like it was so unsafe that you didn't have another option?
إيه أكيد. نحن آخر شيء طلعنا يعني إجت قذيفة بالبيت.
Nice pick.
Gadir was able to open his own atelier in Beirut 5 years after fleeing the Syrian city of Dara with his family. He is just one of the million-plus refugees living in Lebanon that had to flee their homes. In 2011, the Arab Spring saw democratic uprisings that toppled the presidents of Egypt and Tunisia. Feeling optimistic about their power for change, peaceful protesters took to the streets of Syria as well. The Syrian government, led by President Bashar al-Assad, responded by killing and detaining protesters. A rebel group in opposition was then formed, thus beginning the Syrian civil war. The war has become a political quagmire, with multiple nations getting involved, some under the guise of fighting ISIS, which took advantage of the chaos and formed vast strongholds in the north and east. Unarmed civilians have bared the brunt of the violence, including chemical attacks many believe were conducted by Assad. Over 11 million Syrians have been displaced, more than 1 million injured, and almost 500,000 killed.
ما ضل شيء يعني انه لازم نترك البلد ونطلع لبرا اكيد. يعني انا مش كرمالي، كرمال الاولاد بدي اعيشهم. يعني نجم كان عمره 2 عم تصير سيدرا بتتذكر شوي. ايه وفي ياسين الكبير بتذكر احيانا قصص.
كمان بتذكر الدار اللي كنا فيه كبير وفيه جنينه فيه كل شيء. كان في ورود واشجار وبحب الطبيعه.
Is there nature where you live now?
مو كتير.
Not really. Was there a particular moment when you felt like it was so unsafe that you didn't have another option?
ايه اكيد. نحن اخر شيء طلعنا يعني اجت قذيفه بالبيت. انا كنت محل شغلي، كانوا عائلتي والاولاد بالبيت. فبلش القصف وهيك، فطلعوا من البيت هن، فطلعوا لبرا. بعد ما طلعوا اجت قذيفه من فوق على السطح.
ايه وكمان طلعت على السطح وشفته تأكدت منه.
تخبينا، ضلينا من الصبح للمساء متخبيين بأوضة صغيرة يا دوب 2 ب2، 4 عائلات، لحتى طلعنا على منطقة تانية وإجا جوزي أخذنا.
تركنا كل شيء وأجينا لهون على لبنان. فإحنا عم نحاول ننسيهم، يعني نعلمهم بالمدارس، نخلي حياتهم طبيعية.
دوام الظهاري كله سوري، لما أنا كبيرة ما بيوسع كل الظهاري والسوريين مع بعض.
فقسموهم اسمين، إنه دوام صباحي دوام مسائي.
Do you want to go back?
أكيد، إيه أكيد. يعني العيشة اللي كنا عايشينها بسوريا يعني أحلى من العيشة اللي عايشينها هلا.
When do you think you'll be able to?
مو قبل 50 سنة.
50.
على هالوضع أكيد كيف بدها ترجع تتعمر بلادنا؟
It's really gnarly to imagine, you know, these design houses that are made up of tailors that each have a story like this. I mean, I think the other thing that's like hard to imagine at this point is like, you know, compared to a lot of refugees in this country, they have a pretty good situation. He's a designer and he's really like made a life for his family, and they feel maybe as grounded as they can feel here.
We are traveling 2 hours outside of Beirut to the Syrian border, which is the entry point for many Syrian refugees as they first leave their country.
There's over 1 million refugees that have made it into Lebanon from Syria, and the majority of them have settled in the Bekaa Valley.
Because the vast majority of people killed or detained were men, almost 3/4 of the refugee population are women and children. Before fleeing, many of these women did not work. Others lost their degrees in the destruction or had to drop out of school. Now they're struggling to provide for their families, often for the first time.
I'm here at Basmat, which is a training center that was started by a woman named Majid. She teaches women basic training in hair and makeup and different ways in which they can earn a living.
صبايا هي قاعة الحلاقة والتجميل. نحن بنعمل حلاقة وتجميل على أكثر من عدة مستويات، مكياج، لف شعر، قص، صبغة، ميش، تمام.
Is she the teacher? Hi, I'm Hailey.
تمام، هي أنسة
Nice to meet you.
في عنا أم حسام كمان، هي بتشتغل عنا بالمركز.
Hossam and her daughters trained at Majid's center, and now they have a makeshift hair salon in their tent at the refugee camp.
How's it going, guys?
والله يعني هلا الحمد لله تمام، يعني بعد ما صار عندنا مورد ثاني كل الشهر يعني صار بيساعدنا مصروف البيت بالأجار الخيمة بكل شيء.
You have to rent this tent?
إيه yeah.
How much is it?
100,000 لبناني.
Unlike other neighboring countries, Lebanon does not have a formal refugee program and therefore does not oversee these settlements. Instead, private Lebanese citizens rent out this land, which leaves refugees vulnerable to unregulated prices and no security.
How old are you?
23. خولة دارسة سنة أولى جامعة جغرافيا بس ما قدرت تكمل طلعت من الشام قبل ما تكفي وهون ما قدرت تكفي الدراسة.
Will there be an opportunity for you to continue school here in Lebanon?
والله الله أعلم ما بتوقع بس.
What do you think?
هو لأنه ما في سبرة ما في كهرباء ما في سشوار أو فير يعني طلع ماشي حاله.
Thank you. If you can go back, will you go back?
أكيد.
This camp is really close to Syria. Does it ever make you nervous to be on the border like this?
لا بحس أحياناً إنه برتاح يعني أحياناً بحس براحة. All my family in Syria.
بقدر أقول المرأة السورية هي جد مرأة جبارة لأنه المرأة هي أكثر من ضحت بهي الثورة.
Majid Center offers more than training in hair and cosmetology. They have language studies, computer lessons, and provide much-needed psychological support for women and children. Because of her advocacy work, Majid was awarded the International Women of Courage Award from the United States. Majid was living in Dara, the city where Gadir and his family are from. She and her husband were among the first organizers of the peaceful protests.
فطبعاً تقابلنا فوراً بالرصاص. أحد المرات أنا وخارجة من المدينة تم اعتقالي عند بوط العسكري يضربوني على وجهي صار معي كسر يعني حتى بأنفي وضربوا زوجي قدامي وهددوني يقتلوه يصفوه إذا ما بحكي. هاي آخر مرة بشوفه فيها لزوجي كان منهك من كتر القتل كان مغمى عليه حتى. وبشكل كتير سريع ضليت 3 شهور ما تحممت لأنه ممنوع. الشهرية لما بتجي للنساء الدورة الشهرية ما بيعطوا فوات كل يوم يعني يفتحوا أبواب الزنازين أنه مين في فطايس اليوم. كان عندي مبدأ إنه قد ما تعذبت إنه ما أحكي لأنه مجرد أحكي أول كلمة فهن ما بقى يتركوني يعني. فبالعكس أنا بعتبر تجربة السجن كانت كتير منيحة مو يعني أكيد هي صعبة وحلوة بنفس الوقت بس هي كان فيها شيء لأنه ثبتتني أكثر وبيعرفوا إنه النهار اللي بشار الأسد رح يموت أو رح يسقط نحن رح نرجع على سوريا ولو شو ما كان وضعه ولو بدنا ننصب خيمة بأرضنا. أنا تركيزي على طول على النساء لأنه بشوف النساء هن حيكون لهم دور كتير كبير إما بحل الأزمة أو حتى ببناء يعني البلد ما بعد هالحرب.
Majid has been able to turn her trauma into conviction. However, not everyone in Lebanon shares her point of view.
Are you okay? What are you nervous about?
No.
We're going to speak to a young Hezbollah fighter who's just come back from Syria. He has not asked Hezbollah for permission to talk to us, so. What is the ultimate goal of a Hezbollah fighter? How old are you?
18. أنا من أنا وصغير تربيت على حب حزب الله. كنت ضلني أحط براسي إنه بس أكبر بدي فوت على حزب الله.
And what is Hezbollah?
حزب الله أقوى من الجيش كفعالية على الأرض أكتر كعقيدة.
How powerful is Hezbollah within Lebanon?
الحزب إذا بده بيقدر ياخد لبنان كله ويعمل اللي بده إياه.
Hezbollah formed as a vigilante army in the 80s in order to fight Israel, who is occupying southern Lebanon. Since then, they have grown into one of the most powerful political groups in Lebanon. Today, Hezbollah troops are fighting in Syria alongside the army in support of President Bashar al-Assad. Due to their use of guerrilla warfare and anti-American views, they have earned a spot on the U.S. foreign terrorist list.
Why did Hezbollah start fighting in Syria?
كرمال يمنع داعش تفوت على لبنان.
And were you there for the fall of Aleppo?
Yes.
And if Hezbollah wasn't fighting in Syria, what do you think the state of Lebanon would be right now?
كانوا فاتوا داعش على لبنان، حرقوا البيوت وفاتوا على النسوان واغتصبوا النسوان.
What neighborhood did you grow up in?
ضاحي. أثر فيه من ناحية إنه شفت الحزب كيف تصدى للعدوان، كيف دافع 33 يوم. أثرت علي من ناحية كتير. خلتني أفهم أكتر شو هو حزب الله.
In 2006, a month-long war between Hezbollah and Israel resulted in almost total annihilation of the suburb of Dahe. Hezbollah eventually rebuilt the infrastructure and now has strict control of the area. Dahe is also where Farah lives and has her atelier. I'm meeting her at her local shisha bar.
Were you here during the war in 2006?
Of course, I was here with my family. It's a thing that the Lebanese people here suffered a lot from.
Yeah.
Israelis have no boundaries, inhumane acts, a lot of blood was shed, houses were destroyed.
Farah is an outspoken supporter of Hezbollah. In fact, Farah's foray into fashion is fairly recent. She made a name for herself by hosting pro-Hezbollah propaganda shows.
Unlike Syria, Israel is suspected to have a stockpile of chemical weapons. We became an ideology or a role model for how the resistance acts. And even our children today, they're born speaking about defense and about how to be strong and how to be courageous. It's in their blood. Our men are doing an amazing work on the ground. And I feel safer because I know that these extremists cannot penetrate or cannot go into the Dahi suburbs. And that by itself is a comfort.
And who are Hezbollah fighting with in Syria?
Extremists, of course.
They're fighting against extremists?
Of course, against them next to the Syrian army.
I see.
Yes.
In support of Assad?
Of course, in support of Assad. But here in Lebanon, fashion designers will not speak politics, Hailey. Yeah.
Really?
No, they won't speak politics. No way.
But you feel protected?
I feel comfortable because that's who I am. I'm not going to be changing.
Yeah.
It's what I believe in. And when you believe in what you believe in, then you're strong.
So in nearly every atelier that I've been to here, there has been a Syrian working behind the scenes.
Yes, exactly. The Syrian crisis played a positive role on Lebanon when it comes to grabbing all these talented tailors to Beirut, and they're willing to work for you with very cheap prices. But Osama is treated in a very nice way at the atelier. As a Muslim, that's how you treat other people, of course. Osama has 4 children. 2 children out of the 4 children, they left their schools and they're working to help their father too. But alhamdulillah that I have the chance to help him. So it's a mutual benefit here.
I don't know, this place is so complicated. It's like, it's dizzying, you know? And not just because I smoked shisha for an hour. Yes, it's true, she's giving him a job and she's helping him put food on the table for his kids. But at the same time, because she's in support of Hezbollah, she's in support of the Assad regime in Syria, which has just decimated Aleppo, the place that he comes from. Ugh. All of these people live in a country that is the size of Connecticut, that have such disparate ideas about Lebanon, Syria, the Middle East in general. It just feels hot. It feels like a pressure cooker. Uh-oh, something's happening. Suicide bomber tried to detonate. Uh-oh, something's happening. Oh my God, someone's gonna get accidentally shot. We're on Hamra Street in downtown Beirut. A suicide bomber tried to detonate, but the Lebanese intelligence shot him in the arm before he was able to do it. Apparently, he was in contact with the Islamic State in Raqqa. It's a little spooky. To plan an attack on this street feels like an attack on Western consumerism because it is
It's kind of like that Broadway Nowheresville street where it's like in every city there's one of these streets with a Costa Coffee and an H&M and a Starbucks. You know, it's like a shopping mall street.
إذا عم بيراهنوا إنه يضربوا الاقتصاد ويكون في تفجير للبنان، أنا تصوري بعيد كتير لأنه لبنان مستقر. حولنا المنطقة كلها ملتهبة. أنا تصوري لبنان بأحلى حالاته. كنا مرتاحين وبعدنا مرتاحين، نرتاح أكثر لأنه هيدا العمل ما بيرهبنا، خصوصاً نحن لبنانيين عشنا الحرب اللبنانية.
So all of these camera guys are filming people having leisurely cups of coffee at Costa now, I guess to show that things are okay. The Prime Minister is putting up signs on the coffee shop saying thank you, saying this is a safe place. Doesn't feel as safe right now, even with all of these huge guys with guns.
Today is the fashion showcase, where Qadir, Ali, and Farah will be presenting their designs on a small stage in Farah's atelier.
Look at this. Hi, Osama. How are you?
والله هي فستان سهل.
When did you start making that dress?
من شي ساعتين.
Oh my God.
هلا بعد ساعة بدها تلبسه هلا.
You only need an hour?
إيه جوايد خلص بدها تلبسه الساعة عيب على إني.
Amazing. Well, good luck. I won't stand in your way. Farah.
It was invented and now it's going to be accomplished.
It's so beautiful. Which of the designers are you most excited about?
I'm excited to try the hijab.
Really?
The first time that I work with a designer that designs this type of clothes.
How are you feeling?
Oh, please, Naja.
Oh my God. The princess. That dress looks so good.
Thank you so much. We're almost ready for the show. And actually, I was just telling my team that it's a beautiful thing to prove to people how Lebanese designers cooperate together. I mean, this is my atelier, but I'm so happy hosting another fashion designer, which is Ali Asi, and other fashion designers. I think it's a largest proof of this Lebanese cooperation in the world of fashion design. Qadir, يلا الدرسز اللي لك صاروا جاهزين تاخذهم.
Guess we're ready for the show.
Ali.
I think that everything that we have seen in Lebanon was reflected on that runway.
يلا اضحكي على الكاميرا حطي ايدك على خصك يلا.
Yet despite their seemingly conflicting backgrounds and political ideologies, these designers have found a way to come together. There are now over 5 million Syrian refugees around the world. Lebanon has taken in over 1 million of them. The US has only taken in about 18,000. And while Lebanon is still struggling to accommodate this influx of Syrian refugees, as I come home, it's clear that the United States is dealing with it in a very different way. The exact day I landed back in America, the US Customs and Border Protection enacted an executive order issued by Donald Trump, now commonly referred to as the Muslim ban, which intended to bar visitors from 7 Muslim-majority countries and ban all Syrian refugees from entering the United States indefinitely.